So basically, if you've been following handheld gaming news over the past couple of years, you'll have seen that Xbox were working with Asus to make a new Xbox ROG gaming handheld. But that's not all. You've seen videos of that, you've seen unboxings for that, go check my channel out, and it looks like a pretty solid gaming handheld. But there was another thing Xbox were working on, and that was their own first-party hardware. They were going to make their own handheld. Now, obviously, Xbox and Microsoft have a long history of making their own hardware. Look at the Microsoft Surface devices. They've been making good quality hardware for a while. Kind of like Apple, just not as popular, right? And the rumor was that they were going to make their own first-party hardware, their own handheld, and they were wanting to work with AMD to get a custom system on a chip, kind of like the Steam Deck, right, for this. And, well, it turns out it was cancelled, and they're going to double down on their partnership with Asus, with the Xbox ROG Ally, and the plan for making their own hardware and their own handheld, which could have been absolutely beautiful, has been scrapped supposedly because AMD had a requirement that they sold 10 million units if they were going to make a custom chip for Microsoft and Xbox. And again, here's another article from PC Games. Microsoft abandoned in-house Xbox handheld because of AMD costs, say rumor. Microsoft considered building an Xbox handheld gaming PC in-house using a custom AMD gaming CPU, but didn't proceed, says a new rumor. And again, this is the article we're going to read from The Gamer. Xbox reportedly cancelled its original handheld because it didn't believe it could sell tens of millions of units. So obviously, if you don't know, the Xbox ROG Ally launches later this month, and the more expensive X model has been confirmed to cost an insane $1,000. But there was supposedly plans for a cheaper, dedicated Xbox handheld that wasn't just an Xbox branded ROG Ally at one stage. But it seemed Xbox may have gotten cold feet based on the sales of other handheld devices and changed its plans. That's according to new details shared by AMD insider Kepler L2, fielding questions about Xbox's hardware plans and its relationship with AMD on NeoGAF. Kepler was asked if the unannounced handheld is still on hold and that maybe Xbox's potential new home console is facing a similar fate. There were reports over the weekend that Xbox won't release another home console. Xbox claims that Xbox quickly shut down. We just did a video, go watch that. But AMD wanted to sell 10 million handheld consoles, but Xbox wasn't ready for that kind of commitment. So basically, Xbox wasn't sure it could sell 10 million handheld gaming consoles based on probably preliminary reports of their sales of the Xbox ROG Ally maybe not selling anywhere near a million, and the Steam Deck not getting close to 10 million units in its lifetime, and it's been out for several years now. According to Kepler, the dedicated Xbox handheld isn't on hold, it's been outright cancelled. That's supposedly due to AMD asking Xbox to commit to selling at least 10 million units before moving forward with the device. Assessing the sales of other handheld devices on the market, Xbox lost confidence and was unconvinced its handheld could sell 10 million units, hence the device being cancelled before it was ever even announced. The desire to get into the handheld market is spurred on by the success of the Switch, Nintendo Switch, but a quick look at the sales numbers on other devices in the market, devices that Xbox handheld would share a lot more in common with, demonstrates why Xbox backed off. The Steam Deck is the biggest name of the various options available, and Valve's handheld console is yet to hit 5 million sold. Steam Deck, quite honestly, is still my favorite handheld, just because, you know, for the price, the value proposition, the price of it, I think it's great value. A lot of the top tier games these days, like, you know, newer releases, even Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered, you know, I was struggling to get anywhere near playable and enjoyable frame rates on the Steam Deck, and I'm sure I wouldn't be able to get great settings on newer handhelds, even like the new Xbox ROG Ally or the Legion Go 2. So I've decided I'm going to stick with the Steam Deck and probably just game stream all my games from my gaming PC to the Steam Deck, and I've been having a great time, a great successful time doing that lately. I was playing Oblivion the other night, streaming it actually, and I've got it streaming using Moonlight to my Steam Deck in the bedroom, and it runs flawlessly. I'm usually a stickler for latency and input lag and stuff like that, but it's been damn near zero. So in-house game streaming from my gaming PC to my Steam Deck's been fine. It's been sufficient for what I use it for. I don't really go anywhere, don't travel anymore. I used to travel a lot and fly a lot, but now I don't, so I'm happy just game streaming to my Steam Deck from around the house. That's more than sufficient for me. So yeah, until there's a new next gen upgrade, Perhaps Steam Deck 2. I'll probably just be holding out. But yeah, the Steam Deck hasn't even sold 5 million units, and alternatives such as the ROG Ally and the Lenovo Legion Go have sold even fewer units, which according to this latest report is why even Xbox, when Xbox was faced with a commitment to sell 10 million units of its own handheld, it backed off and went down the branded ROG Ally X route instead. On the one hand, it's a little odd that Xbox would look at those numbers and back off, only to launch a handheld device that's even more of a direct competitor to the consoles that haven't sold as well, as it would need its own device to sell. However, unlike its own potentially cancelled handheld, Xbox doesn't need the ROG Ally to sell 10 million units. Despite that, and despite its high price, it seems like the ROG Xbox Ally is doing well. Pre-orders for the more expensive X models sold out almost immediately, a rare win for Xbox amid Game Pass price hike backlash and its console disappearing from major retailers. Obviously, we even saw the Lenovo Legion Go 2 sell out extremely fast, and Lenovo basically came out and said, whoa guys, we weren't expecting this much demand for our new Legion Go 2 handheld. We're going to have to cancel a lot of your orders, and you guys are going to have to wait till November, December to get them, because it was that successful. So there is a massive demand. I guess Xbox just got cold feet and said, whoa, we're not sure we could sell 10 million of these of our first party device. So you know what, we're just going to double down on the Asus partnership and see how the Asus ROG Ally goes. And for $1,000, and this with this being $1,000, and Phil Spencer saying just months ago, we're not going to grow the console market by selling $1,000 consoles, for him to then turn around and sell $1,000 console, an Xbox handheld, is a little bit hypocritical. Jason here basically says, I actually think a dedicated Xbox handheld that could play my Xbox games natively could have sold pretty well if the price stayed around 500 or lower. And I think I've been saying that for months. I've been saying, I've been actually waiting for Xbox's own in-house handheld gaming console. I was saying, if they could make a custom chip that could run their Xbox console games, and I think that's what we're talking about here. I think Xbox were wanting to make a handheld gaming device in-house that could basically play the same software as their consoles could, like the Xbox Series S, but in handheld form, and have that massive library to Xbox 360 games, original Xbox games, backwards compatibility, but also run PC games on top of that. That would have been an absolute game changer. And I think ultimately Xbox just had a good thing about it and thought, the cost of AMD developing this custom chip for them that would allow for them to do that, they would need 10 million units to basically make it worth their time. And Microsoft was like, they looked at the sales of the Steam Deck, they looked at the sales and upcoming pre-orders of the Xbox ROG Ally, and they were like, oh, I don't know if there's a big enough market for this. And then they decided to back off and say, you know what, we're just going to stick with what we've got and work with Asus and, put our resources and effort into this for now. So it's a little bit of a disappointment for me, at least. Let me know your thoughts. Like I said, I've been saying this time and time again. I've been wanting an Xbox handheld, a first-party Xbox handheld, not a collaboration with Asus, right, for the Xbox ROG Ally. As nice as that is, I mean, let's be honest, the Xbox ROG Ally is nice. And anyone that gets one, I wish you the best of luck, and I hope you have a great time with it. But I was really holding out and hoping and praying, that they would release a first-party device made in-house, kind of like the Surface Pro with maybe aluminum, I don't know, something, a really great design, maybe like an 8-inch OLED, something really high quality with all the features that we'd want, and have it allow it to run like console games as well as PC games. And that would open up the library massively and make it a true competitor to something like the Nintendo Switch 2. I was just disappointed they didn't go that route. I don't blame them. I mean, 10 million units is what AMD were asking. If they were like, if we're going to make this custom chip that plays console games and PC games, it's going to require a lot of resources and a lot of money and a lot of investment. And if you want us to do that, then you're going to have to invest in, securing 10 million units of this thing. And Xbox were like, looking at the sales, and we're like, oh, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be worth it. So they cancelled it, and that's that. So let me know your thoughts on it down below. I'm Blaze. Please like, subscribe, click the bell icon, check the links down below for some cool tech, and buy yourself an Xbox ROG Ally if you want to. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace out. Have a great day.